So in the last we have discussed the boiler. Just we have started the discussion of a boiler. In that we have discussed what is a boiler, and we have started the classification of a boiler, how a boiler can be classified into different types. So next is if we shall classify the boiler depending upon the pressure of the steam that generates, it can be of mainly two types. One is a low pressure boiler, another is a high pressure boiler. In the low pressure boiler, the steam pressure maximum up to 80 bars, but in high pressure boilers it is 80 to 210 bar. Similarly, according to the circulation system of the water and the steam, it may be of two types. One is your natural circulation system and forced circulation system. In natural circulation system, water or steam flows due to its gravity or the potential energy. But in the forced circulation system, it will be circulated by the help of an additional force developed by the pump or a impeller. In the natural circulation system, the water flows naturally, but in the forced circulation system, it is by artificial means, by using the pumps. Similarly, we can also classify according to the position of this furnace. If the furnace is internally fixed, then it is internally fire boiler, and if the furnace is placed outside of the boiler, then it is known as the externally fire boiler. Next, we shall discuss some important features of a fire tube boiler. First of all, let me tell you what is a fire tube boiler. In the last class, I have already told you regarding it. In the case of a fire tube boiler, the fire, that hot flue gas, flows inside the tube and the water surrounds around the tube, so that the heat energy from the hot flue gas will transfer to the water through the water tube and it will be heated. So, in the case of fire tube boiler, it is mostly internally fire boiler. That means the furnace will be placed inside the boiler. Such type of boilers are mainly of low pressure boiler, and these are not suitable for the power generation. Mainly it is used for the textile industry, pharmaceutical industry, food processing industry, and so on. To operate this type of boiler, the semi-skilled or unskilled worker can also be utilized for its operation because it has the less risk. But it requires more floor area to accommodate this boiler, and its rate of production is very low. That means it produces steam, less quantity of steam within more time. So that is the low rate of steam production. And the best example of low pressure boilers are Cochrane boiler, Lancashire boiler, locomotive boiler, and so on. Next, we shall discuss some important features of a water tube boiler. Water tube boilers are a very important type of boiler, and nowadays we are maximum utilizing the water tube boiler. What is a water tube boiler? In water tube boiler, water flows inside the tube and the hot flue gas surrounds the tube, so that the heat from the hot flue gas will come to the water through the tube. And in this case, it is mainly of externally fire boiler. That means the furnace will be placed outside of the boiler, and the pressure developed by the steam will be around 80 to 210 bar, which is very beautiful and it is very useful for the power plant. So it can be used for the power generation. So it is best suitable for the power generation. And the rate of steam production is very high. It is quite essential for a power generation in the power plant. It is also very risky because to operate such type of plant, such type of boiler, we need the skilled worker. Unskilled worker cannot operate this type of boiler. So it is risky during the operation. So skilled workers are mainly engaged for its operation. It requires less floor area in compared to the fire tube boiler. And the best example are Babcock and Wilcox boiler, Stirling boiler, Benson boiler, Lamont boiler, and so on. What are the factors that affecting the selection of a boiler? Whenever we are going to select a boiler for any type of application, what are the different factors we have to think? First, number one, the working pressure of the steam produced. What type of steam we need and what should be the pressure of the steam that we shall utilize. So that is the first criteria, and you should think that is the working pressure of the steam that has to be produced. Second is your rate of steam generation. How much steam we need in 1 hour? That is the rate of steam production. For any type of application, whatever the application it may be, it needs some quantity of steam in per hour. For each type of different application, there is the different requirement. So according to the requirement, we have to put the boiler. Third is your accessibility for repairing and inspection. For any type of breakdown problem, we have to shut down it and we shall do the repairing and maintenance work. For easy repairing and maintenance work, there must be a provision for the maintenance and repairing, so that one person can go inside the boiler and he can easily repair this. So for that there must be some particular provision for its repairing and maintenance. Fourth point is your load factor. How much energy that we have to generate, and according to that we have to install the boiler, and in that case it purely depends upon the load factor. Fifth point is your availability of fuel and water. Wherever we are going to install the plant for the generation of power, two main important requirements are there. One is your fuel, that is the coal, and second one is your water. To install a power plant, we need the fuel, that is the coal, mainly for the thermal power plant, and water around the plant, so that there will be minimum transportation charge. So in general, wherever we are going to install a thermal power plant, the fuel source should be around the plant or closer to that plant, so that it will be easy and the cost of production will be minimum. Next important point, a high pressure boiler is mainly used for the power generation. You should remember, the high pressure boilers are only the water tube boiler. It produces the steam mainly of superheated with high pressure and high temperature, so that it absorbs, it have maximum heat energy, that is the energy carried by the steam is very high. And during the expansion of the steam inside the turbine, this energy will help to rotate the turbine shaft. So the amount of steam energy present in the steam purely responsible for the power generation, and hence the high heat content steam will produce maximum power in compared to the wet steam or the low pressure steam.